So I can tell this is my opinion, of course. Even the facts of scientists, they are only sophisticated, educated opinions based on some measurements or observations. But anyway, even the facts, we say that they are facts, they are only opinions. And there are opinions which turn out to be more correct, and there are opinions which turn out to be more wrong. So, this is only my opinion, let me tell you this. But my opinion has always been that the worst idea that humanity, this animal called human, has ever got into his brains, which are quite large. That's one of the problems. We have too large brains to do many stupid things very efficiently. We are very good animals doing things bad, bad things very efficiently, stupid things very efficiently. And we don't usually think that large brains can make us do stupid things, but yes, of course, it's only a capacity. uh, Intelligence is only a capacity to do either smart things or stupid things efficiently and more, and invent many ways to do the same thing, which might be smart or stupid, efficiently and in large scales. So it's only a processor or memory or whatever. And wisdom is very different from intelligence. You have to understand that wisdom is not intelligence, and intelligence is not wisdom. And it's many times it's also an opinion if something was smart or not so smart. But in my opinion, the worst and the most stupid thing humankind have ever done is to start burn coal, gas, and oil. Because if you think that even if we haven't cut down any trees, we wouldn't have destroyed any plants, and all the planet would be like a jungle, even then, you can imagine the whole earth being a green jungle full of plants, and the climate might be nice or maybe hot, I don't know. But anyway, even on this jungle planet, if there is an ape, let's call this ape a human being, an ape called a human, starts to dig holes in the ground without destroying any of the forest, and drilling oil, gas, and coal, and burns this gas, coal, and oil, and releases the CO2 in the atmosphere. Of course, we change the climate on this jungle planet too. And it might be that if we do this enough, efficiently enough, fast enough, this jungle planet cannot adapt to this change in climate. When we heat up the atmosphere and the planet by burning coal, oil, and gas and releasing all the CO2 into the atmosphere on this jungle planet, even this jungle planet might get too hot for the plants and trees to survive. And we might even succeed in turning this flush green planet into a desert without cutting any single tree or killing any single plant, only by changing the climate so warm and hot, because we found a hole in the ground where is a lot of coal, gas, and oil, and we burn it. You understand? Even trees cannot save us, maybe. Even plants cannot save us, maybe, because we have been so stupid that we don't understand that this coal and gas and oil, it's buried underground very deep. It's reserves of carbon dioxide and carbon. So you understand what I mean. It has been the most stupid or unthoughtful thing to do, to find this coal and gas and oil and burn it. Even on a jungle planet, it might be a catastrophe for all life on this planet. Even if it's full of green plants everywhere, every square meter is plants. No, it may not survive this change in climate if we start to burn all the gas and ground under the ground, many kilometers, 100 meters or 10 meters, whatever. It has been there and it haven't affected climate on this planet. But when we dig it up and we burn it, we inevitably we change the climate. First a little bit, but the more we burn the gas, oil and gas and coal, the more we change the climate. And even if we don't really change the plantation of this planet, we inevitably change the climate on this planet. You understand? This is a kind of, I could say it's a scientific fact, but you can even, in your brains, which are very large and smart, you can imagine, of course, it affects the climate, of course. Because the amount of plants which absorb the CO2 and produce oxygen, this amount doesn't change. Only when it might change, when they start to die because the climate is so unbearable for them. So, from my opinion, we have been very unthoughtful, very, very stupid when we first found coal and started to burn it, and oil and gas. Now we say, oh, but there will not be this progress, no technology. Perhaps not so fast. It might have delayed for about maybe 50, 100 years, maybe 150 years, maybe 200 years. But what does it matter if the technological advances delay 100 or 200? In the history of humanity, which is approximately 300,000 years old, apes we are. So in this 300,000 year period, what does it matter 100 years or 200? But of course, we are selfish. We don't want to suffer, of course. We don't want to give our children this opportunity to be smarter than us. Of course, adults are smarter than our children. Or are we really? That's another question. But anyway, what about nuclear? Would that have been smarter? Of course, digging up uranium has caused a lot of greenhouse gases because we burn oil while digging up this uranium. We burn coal, we burn gas while digging up this uranium. We drive cars and trucks and plants generating heat and electricity with coal and gas and oil before we can use this uranium. But what if not? What about thorium or any other? They don't produce so much, at least, CO2 in the atmosphere. And if we would have been really smart, which we haven't really been, we have been very, very naughty children of whatever. If you believe in God or some other intelligence or whatever you believe, you have to admit that we have been very, very naughty. Very naughty. And we have deserved this coal block, like a Santa Claus. Santa Claus thought that humans are very naughty, and that Santa Claus gave us a lot of coal, and we, naughty children of Santa Claus, we burned all this coal and so doomed us and all life on earth to suffering. God knows for how long. Even Santa Claus doesn't know for how long, but Santa Claus will have no snow, I think, because of we burned the coal which we got from the Santa Claus, this black coal or brown coal or whatever. There's different colors in coal. And in the radioactivity, coal plants are more radioactive than a nuclear plant. This is a fact. You have to know this. So when we have feared the more modern nuclear energy is of course newer technology than burning coal, which we have done thousands of years. Even the Romans burned coal and oil and maybe even gas. But it's really old technology, which we should never have used in this scale It doesn't matter if some Roman burns some coal in some little metal vessel and heats his tent. That's okay, it's so minimal. But in this scale, burning coal, oil, and gas, it's insanity. It's insanity. It's so stupid anyway. Combustion engine is 20-30% efficiency. It's so freaking bad, so stupid. You have to admit this. And then you ask, what instead we should have done? We should have waited and invented something better to do. Something better. And it came. It was nuclear energy. But were afraid because we didn't understand in so many scales. Burning something, it's simple. And we don't fear fire because we have lived with fire since the cave age when we were not even this modern Homo sapiens sapiens. And I really don't want to say sapiens sapiens because we are not so wise. We are more like Homo habilis. We are Homo habilis actually. That's the correct name for modern humans. We are Homo habilis. We can use our brains and hands in very, very clever ways, but we don't use our brains and we don't have so much wisdom. And I think most of the people on this earth agree with me now that we are not so wise. We haven't been so wise. And now we can see the results of our stupidity. And even during the Second World War, when we started to really invent the nuclear energy, we were also very stupid because we wanted to make weapons. We wanted to kill ourselves. That's insanity. If you find some new energy source, of course you want to blow yourself up. Huh? Like finding a fire, you want to burn yourself or your enemies. We did this too. The first uses of oil perhaps was like Nero did. Put oil on the heads of Christians and burn them alive. Oily hair and put it on fire and burn them alive. Yes, we are very, very violent species, and we have to understand this, our weakness. We want to kill, we want to destroy. Every day we want to destroy something. Even as children, we like destroying things. We like to kill insects, we want to destroy castles, we want to play war, and we are very competitive, aggressive species, and we have to understand this, because if we don't understand our own nature, we cannot live with ourselves wisely unless we understand what kind of aggressive, stupid monkeys we are. When we understand this, maybe then we can live a bit more wisely. But as long as we believe that we are so good and so wise, we cannot do things wrong. No, it's a bullshit. It's bullshit. We are very stupid, aggressive. Almost, I could say, we all are idiots. When you think about your day, for example, most of the things you do during your day are very idiotic. And in some days you don't do one single smart thing in your life, if you think about it. Everything you do in your life is stupid. And maybe someday you might do something smart. But doing smart for humans is very, very, very unusual. For us, doing stupid things is more natural. We do much more stupid things than smart things. And some people even argue that that person haven't done any single smart thing in his life. Like maybe someone says about my life, I haven't done any smart thing. But that's also an opinion. But anyway, I find myself very stupid. Yes, many times a day. So, is it too late now? Maybe. But it all depends on us. Do we want to be smart or stay stupid? kind of, or keep doing stupid things. Well, now we say that we are addicted to these behaviors. We cannot change our behavior, but we have done always this. We don't ride horses anymore. There's no horse shit on the streets of New York anymore. 100 years ago, maybe there was still horse shit on New York. But anyway, what we have created, we can also destroy. And we even want to destroy what we have created. We build houses which are quite good. But we want something new, which is more shitty. A building which has stood for 200 years. We want to tear it down or let it burn, and we want to build something which lasts only 20 years. Instead of 200 years, we want to build something which might last. Even the builder's promise is that this house will stay there 20 years and I don't guarantee any longer. 20 years max, and sometimes not even 20 years. But we want to destroy and build something more shitty instead. That's our nature too. This is more like observation. It's also an opinion, but it's more like observation. That we want to do stupid things, and it's okay. We are allowed to do mistakes, and mistakes are the only thing from which we can learn. If you do always things right, you have no need to learn, and you actually don't learn anything by doing everything right. So it's good that we do mistakes, but it's bad when we don't learn or want to learn from our mistakes. And oh boy, we humans, we have done so many mistakes that we should be very, very wise by now. Are we? That's the question. Are we wise by now? After all these humongous mistakes which we have made during our short history of 0.3 million years. And we have actually been here only about 0.3 million years. Neanderthals, which we partly are still, Neanderthals are mixed into us. They existed kind of a singular species, something like 0.4 million years, 100,000 years longer. Can you imagine that if we want to beat this preceding Neanderthals, they existed here 100,000 years longer. Can you imagine that we are still on Earth as a species in the year 102 or 124? 124. Oh, it's so difficult. 102.4. Oh, I made almost a mistake. 10 times bigger mistake. 102.4 thousand. Oh, it's so large numbers. I cannot handle such a large numbers as 100,000. 102,004. Haha. No. 24. It's so small. Yes. 2024. Yeah, 1 0 is between 102,000 years and 24 years. I don't even know how to say this in English. 102,024 years later, we still exist here. 102,024 years later, we should be still here if we want to be Neanderthals. And if we die sooner or destroy all life sooner, we really have not beaten the past Neanderthals, which lived 100,000 years longer here. So we actually were a lot stupider, not so smart as Neanderthals. So, and you have to always understand that progress is neutral. There can be positive or negative progress. You understand this, of course. Progress is not always positive. Progress is quite often negative. Maybe even more often progress is negative than positive. But we always tend to think that all progress is good. It's very good. No, quite often progress is very bad. You can look in the east and even the far east. Is progress good always? No, of course not. You can see it with your own eyes and you can feel it and you can see it on the news. Progress is not always positive or even good. It might sometimes even be evil and very bad. So, I hope you got some insights from this bullshit I just said. It's only my opinion. But the worst idea, the worst mistake we made as humankind was burning coal, oil, and gas in this scale. Some gas or some oil or some gold, it doesn't matter if we burn it. But in this massive scale, it's insane. And we already had at least from 45, what does it take? 55 plus, let's say 25. 80 years. 80 years. Almost 100 years. 80 years we had better technology to produce energy. But we choose because it was cheaper, easier, and maybe more convenient at that time to burn oil, gas, and coal. Even if it was even 10, 80 years ago, it was more than 100 years. Even if you think about burning coal, even Romans burned coal and gas and oil. Thousands of years old technology, even this burning things. We have burned wood for millions of years. It's easy to burn things. It's just so primitive. Even Neanderthals knew how to use fire. And when you drive your car, what are you using? Fire. You are burning the oil in the engine. That's fire. So I can argue that we haven't invented not much better way of producing energy since we knew how to harness fire into our possession, and nobody actually knows how long we have burned things. First we waited that the lightning fires a tree, and when we gathered the burning branches and fired our little fireplaces in our caves. Probably millions of years, maybe many millions of years. We have the ability to burn things, and when you drive your car, remember, you are burning. It's not really progressive way of moving your car, burning something inside the engine. It's very primitive. So any combustion engine, any coal plant, any gas stove in your kitchen, it's very primitive. Millions of years primitive. So is it time for us to get smarter slowly after these millions of years? Maybe, maybe not. It's a choice. You are free. You can choose to be stupid or you can choose to be smart. It's your human right to be stupid. And if you want to be stupid, you have all the means and all the right to be stupid. No one can force anyone to be smarter. It's a freedom of choice to be either smart or stupid. Sometimes it's easier to be stupid. For me at least. Usually it's much more easier to be an idiot. Being smart is hard. Being an idiot is easy. You can always say, I don't understand, so I cannot do anything because I'm so stupid. It's an easy escape to say that you are stupid. You can wash your hands and say, no, I don't know where the water comes, but I know how to wash my hands, so it's easy life to be stupid. Yes, of course. But eventually, it might be wise not to be so stupid. I don't know. That's your choice.